Welcome to Meeple, uniting players from around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode, they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Hey guys, and welcome to episode 56, a return from Essen. As always, I am PJ.
And I'm Gareth.
And with us is...
Hey, I'm John.
He's back. He's back from Essen.
That's right. It is the return of the Meeple correspondent, the Meeple on the ground, John from Trywin Games, who spent a long time in Europe and explored Essen. I don't think I gave him an opportunity to enjoy himself, as I constantly sent him on missions.
Missions.
I heard,
quests.
I heard you. I think you did a live when you came back, and I popped in, and then you made some kind of comment about how you had me in your ear, sending you on missions.
Yeah, I was the proper Ethan Hunt with the earpiece in, going, hang on, let me just, okay, I've got news in from PJ. Okay, there's somebody I need to meet over there, and just away. Yeah.
That is right.
Cool.
You are the Meeple to Meeple Agent Hunt. That is your new moniker. I love it. So tell us about Essen.
Essen. So Spiel Essen. It's a lot. It's everything you could imagine, and then some more. I've been doing this sort of decompression, I suppose you'd call it, since coming back.
Yeah.
And wondering, because one of the common themes, you talk to people and say, how are you getting on? And they go, well, and they'd have this look about them, which became more sort of zombified as the days went on, because people just, time means nothing during Spiel. You will rock up at, if you're dead keen, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you will spend a period of time, and then you will feel it is time to leave, and it may be 10:05, it may be 7 o'clock in the evening. It's just this different experience. And I was actually totting up that if you were first in and last out every single day, which would be an achievement in itself, you would have 35 hours of Spiel to experience.
Wow.
And like chopping that down into bits, you've got things that steal your time, like just getting through the halls. So particularly with Saturday, there was the Saturday Penguin Shuffle, where if you wanted to get anywhere, the best you're going to do is find a flow of people and just slot yourself in.
It looks so busy.
Along.
Yeah,
absolutely wall-to-wall people. And if you're super efficient, you can kind of link that in with heading towards food and see something that looks tasty with a short queue and get something, and then keep moving and eating, which it's never that optimized. But there's just a lot to cram in. So just in terms of the visuals, if you like, when you get there. So I think there are 3 different entrances that you'd mainly come in from. So from the third and first hall are the sort of busier entrances. Hall 3 was absolutely rammed more or less all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you came in from Hall 7, which we did on each day, it was a quieter entrance. And then you experienced Hall 7, where it was notionally empty apart from like a cloakroom. But that is where the Lorcana queue started emerging into.
Oh wow!
With the the security guards watching the breaks in the queue so that people could come across. So basically, traffic guards to let people across, but not podging. So the Lorcana hype was real. But you're just confronted with lots of stuff. So it was roughly themed around sort of children's games in the one area, and then you'd move into the sort of more family stuff, and then the sort of hobby games. But then you'd have accessories and artwork of many styles and varieties, and the sort of storefronts. Thinking about it now, it feels more Blade Runner-esque. With the height of the stalls, you would have stuff to look at, not just at eye level, but way above. So you'd just be captivated by each of these stalls. So you've just got so
Amazing.
much to take in. And then you start thinking, okay, what's the list of stuff I need to check out, whether it's games that you have a general interest in that you want to just have a look at, because you've never physically seen it, or see it played, or hope to try and play it, and then sort of start your navigation around. And ideally, you've got a plan that helps you flow through the halls rather than diving in between the halls. But like, I remember, PJ, in the preview episode, you were asking if there were events beforehand to book on. And through the Spiel app, most of the events were around things like designer meet and greets, and they kind of do some chat, so people would be queuing for that. So obviously, some of those things would be part way through your day. So you sort of do a bit of exploring and come back for this particular event, which you'd notionally need to get there earlier for, so that you're not last in the queue. So there's a lot of, I'm not going to say optimization, but you're always looking to see where you need to be and when to get the best out of what's happening.
Yeah, efficiency of, I guess, travel, your little sat nav. And how was the app? Because you said about the app helping you navigate. Was that useful, or actually because it was so busy?
It was super useful, especially to work out if you wanted to go from one place to another. You could just go, I'm here, I want to go there, and it would give you a route. If you were in one hall in the middle of a crowd and you're like, I need to know where the nearest toilets are, just click toilets and it would show you where they were. Or if you want to find where you're going to meet somebody else, they'll say, I'm in hall 5. Well, where are you? And they could just give you either the standard name or number. Brilliant. In the app, and then you just go and find them.
So useful.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Were you able to share your location with people so that you could meet, or was it just you had to?
I did not try that. I don't know if that's a feature.
Okay.
But it was easy just to find people just through your own sort of personal nav, if you like.
And did you do everything you wanted to do and see, or was there stuff you left? Then you went, oh, I didn't even see this. I know I have that at the Games Expo, and I've completely missed something. Even though I must have walked past it 20 times.
So, so some crazy people would go to the expo with a list of games that other people were interested in to check out on their behalf.
Who would do that?
Nobody would be.
Not in their right mind would you do that. So I'd got a dozen games, and I think the closest one to begin with was Mythwind, I think. So went to have a look, and there was a big old crowd round one table of Mythwind set up. I was like, okay, I'll just listen in. And they're all talking German. I didn't realise it was the launch of the German version. So I thought, okay, and my German's not that good to pick up all the board game related stuff. I was like, okay, I can... Abandon quest. I'll pause this one, I'll circle back later. So I went to have a look at Keltai, because that looks really intriguing with that. Because I know, Gareth, you mentioned the rondel and just the layout and the Roman invaders, and you're playing the Celts and this. And it was the same thing. So you got a group of German players. So they got the rule book on the table as it was being explained, and they'd got the German one. The English one was underneath, so I did have a quick look. So I thought, it's fine, I'll circle back. And I did later, and it was even busier later. So I was like, okay, this is fine. So there's that. If you've got a real hunger for something, you either need to check out which version is being played at that moment in time, or just be a bit more circulatory and pop in at the right moment.
Yeah. It must be really, I guess if you specifically had gone and that's the game you wanted to find and buy, could you buy it okay? Or was it that if you wanted a demo, that's the bit that you couldn't get near?
Generally with purchasing, if you were there generally early enough in the day, there would be like extra copies for each day, because a lot of them, they would sell out on each day. But generally purchasing was okay. And I think I'd alluded to this before, is a lot of the hardcore fans, they'll be there first thing on a Thursday, the hardcore fans are there. And usually at 10 o'clock on each day, you'll just get those who they want that game, and they will head to that stall and they will either queue or whatever. But there were quite a few stalls where, so when I went, so my third one was checking out the SideQuest Nemesis thing. and there were 3 tables set up, and each of them had these really, so that the tables would have been sort of waist height, and each of them had got this above head height board, like on either 4 sides, so you could look over inside, but it looked like they wanted to set something up. So I thought, okay, I'll just see what's going on. And as I was watching, there were lots of boxes arriving on pallets with people looking quite kind of frustrated. And I think the general feel was there were a lot of game companies there who had games delayed in customs, so they were getting deliveries on the day. And I can't remember the title, but there was one where people were queuing for the game to buy it. As the delivery came in, the delivery person was literally unloading it and just giving it to people in the queue because they've been waiting that long. So there's that risk as well, where if your title's not there, then good luck.
I think I saw Chip Theory Games pallet. They got through on Sunday, or it might have been Saturday afternoon. Somebody, they'd waited, and it was they'd missed out 2 or 3 days of trading.
Yeah.
So that's it for publishers. It's a nightmare. I mean, that's the one shot really a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you learned differently from last year? Like now it's your second year.
Yeah, it was. So last year it was more of a, I'll say, relaxed experience comparatively. My view last year was largely about just seeing what the experience was like in terms of how people present their games, what sort of different games there are, so what the games look like, how they're presented, how people interact on the stalls. So one of the things, particularly with Keltai Mythwind, is if you weren't familiar with the game, but you came across it and thought, oh, I wonder what that's about, it was actually quite difficult to work out anything without talking to somebody.
Right.
Some of the other stalls, I would have usually the box on some sort of aerial sort of bracket or something, but then they'd have some sort of summary with it saying, this is the game, this is what it's about, this is how it plays, which is really helpful because even if you're just passing on the way to somewhere else, if it catches your eye and you can go, oh, it's trick taking, it's push your luck or whatever, you're like, okay, I can either go there now or I can come back a bit later. So giving that sort of quick awareness to people, especially when people might be on a schedule, is really helpful.
Yeah,
sure.
So that was last year. So this year, in a comparison, so having a dedicated list of games to check out and trying to meet up with as many people as possible, it makes it really time sensitive because especially meeting with people, a lot of people aren't there for the whole thing, and you're also trying to grab them at a moment that is convenient for them, as well as in a space that's as relaxing as possible, so they can just talk normally. But in Spiel, one of the notable things is just the noise of the backdrop all the time. It's like every sort of music of every type being played all at once. And there are a couple of areas where you can sort of make a break to the sort of outside area, which is sort of in the middle of the con.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you just get a rush of fresh air and a comparative quiet. And it's just this really surreal area because there's nowhere to sit down anywhere.
Like the eye of the storm, isn't it? That bit where there's chaos all around you, but you have got a moment of solitude for a second.
Yeah. But it's so I compare it now because I remember last time going with people who they got their shopping list of games that they had must buys at all cost. There were must sees at all cost to see if they were must buys, and then everything else. And I can kind of understand some of that urgency now of going, I need to cram all of this in this time period because if I don't, then I've personally failed. And I remember saying like last time about if you're not enjoying it, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few times when I just had to sit down on the side going, okay, I need to do this a bit differently because this is an entertainment place, right? It's meant to bring that. Because as one of my friends said, is a lot of the Essen vibe isn't so much about welcoming people in and just playing a game and sitting down. It's almost walking wallets. So it can be difficult to kind of find a pause. So it's
Remember a couple of years when I first started doing content creation, like I booked an entire day. I was like planning my day and I'd put in slots. But then, of course, you don't realise the travelling time, and then of course you bump into people, and it became not as fun. So I really stretched the content over the full weekend.
I did exactly the same.
I feel for you, yeah.
Because so where we were staying, it was a 30-minute car drive in, and on the first day, on the Thursday, we managed to drive in with the folks we were staying with, which was nice. On the Friday and Saturday, it was trains in, so it was a tram, 2 trains, and then the U11 into Essen, and that was an hour and a half. If it could have been an hour, but there was a connecting train, which seemed that line was like cancelled for the entire weekend because there was some train stuff going on. So I couldn't book anything too early because I thought I can't risk missing those people, and nothing too late either because of how things might have panned out. So yeah, having those sort of hard points in the day for each time and making sure you were there from whichever hall. It makes it
because that's the travelling time. That's the bit I could quite on. Oh, I'm in hall 1 now. I'm in hall 3. Whereas whenever it's now, you've got a plan. Otherwise, it makes the whole thing far too much stress.
So what I'm hearing is Spiel Essen needs to be 24 hours a day. This is what I'm hearing, because there's no open gaming, so it's all business and it's all selling. So if you want to sell your products and make money, you should be open for 24 hours for 4 days. That way you can reach everybody.
That'd make an interesting concept, wouldn't it?
The funny thing is, with the lack of open gaming, most of the games of I think it was 12 overall that we discussed before, is people would have been buying those immediately on the first day, and they would have been playing those games, and it would have been really easy and quite fun just to rock up and go, do you mind if I just play the game, just give us an overview? And they'd be like, yeah, it's fine. So and lots of other people would do that too, so they'd have a look and go, this is as good as I heard, I'll go and get a copy as well. But you don't have that.
Certainly, I mean, at the Games Expo, I've definitely, or anywhere there's open gaming, I've wandered around looking at what people are playing, going,
yes,
what's that game? And then I've started Googling and gone, actually, off I go to either buy a copy or do some more research.
Yep. So very similar to Gen Con as well. You see a group playing a game and that's it.
Yeah.
You end up being sold by the gamers and not by the publishers.
Yeah, it's a good build. So on your travels round, you've had the chance to do some sound bites in the John style. So
that's right, the John style. So I think the very first person I met, and it was within like 3 minutes of walking in, was Jenny from boardgame Spiel Corner. Because I got this tap on my back, and I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, what? And then went again, and then she was just there. And high and all that, and then she'd arranged this evening meal on the Friday, where there was about 14 of us who descended on this little burger place, which was fun. So that was the sort of first batch of chats that I did of people's experiences of Spiel.
Was that part of is that primarily Instagram community?
Yeah, so it was all Instagrammers, apart from one. So a couple of our friends had come over from the UK, Adam and Michaela, and Adam's not enormously on Instagram, but everyone else was just the gaming crew, if you like.
That's amazing. Should we have a listen to a couple of them say?
My Instagram name is rh_hobbyplays. Thoughts about Spiel? Crowded, overwhelming, but amazing at the same time. I like it a lot. The atmosphere is something you cannot repeat anywhere else. Maybe Gen Con, but I haven't been there yet, so...
Have you been to Gen Con?
No, not yet.
Okay, so is it on your list to...
Definitely. I just need to find time and money. Okay, money and time. Money is a bit more difficult.
My name is Jenny, and my Instagram is boardgame
Underscore
Spiel Corner. Thanks. It was nice to meet all the people, but also very crowded and exhausting, like every year. But I saw some highlights, and I'm very happy. I enjoyed Redwood. Do you know the game? It's about taking photos of animals and stuff like this, and it's a super cute game. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
My name is Dom. My Instagram name is Bromide Enthusiast. Spiel is an overwhelming mess of games and vendors and companies and publishers that is an entirely difficult thing to navigate, especially being somebody who never took the time to learn or accept languages outside of the English language. But I will say I had an enormous and extraordinary amount of fun while attending Spiel. As much as it was difficult to explore. And I will say that I would love to continue to explore it as the days go on because it is an amazing event. And Germany and Essen in and of itself is a great European city.
Love it. I love Dom's summary. Pretty much 30 seconds of what we said so far. Navigation. A mess is what I think he described it as. But from all, is it Raphael, from Jenny, and from Dom? I mean, really good snapshot into, I guess, some of the Instagram community's perspective on things. Anything else to add around the guys from the Instagram community?
I think the thing that was really lovely is because I'd got a list. Well, I've got a list in front of me of like about 30 people of who you would either knew were there and you would hope to bump into, or you were deliberately making tracks towards each other, and both the sort of accidental meetups as well as the sort of deliberate ones. It's just this really strange experience where you meet these people who some of them I only met at Essen last year and then have kept in touch through Instagram since. But then you meet them again and it's just this really weird and lovely kind of social thing where you're back together again as if it was sort of last week, and catching up on little bits and pieces and sharing tidbits from the latest Spiel. It's just really cool.
It's amazing. It is really cool. Really cool.
I think the thing that really stood out listening and just the people that you met there. So Jenny, and I hope she listens to this episode. Jenny feels like family, right? Like that is the quintessential local host. Like, I just love it. She was there for everyone, and that was really fantastic. And I hope to get to meet her one day. And I'm so excited that you got to meet Dom. I met Dom at Gen Con. Dom is a great guy, very well known in the community, but he's the mess. This is why I asked you about for people like in the preview episode, if you don't speak any other language, how is that navigating? And apparently Dom experienced what I expect Essen to be like. But I'm glad he took the time, and I'm glad y'all got to meet. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Speaking of, so Dom, I believe you met some of my other fellow countrymen. Like, I feel like looking at Instagram while Essen was going on, America came to Germany. Like, everybody was just there, and I was like, wow, this is kind of amazing. Why did I not go? But you got to meet several of my other Americans, and we're gonna hear from them, right?
Yeah.
My name is Danielle Standring, but you can find me anywhere, Instagram, TikTok, at Danny Standring. And people always ask, do you prefer Danny or Danielle? And it's whatever comes out of your mouth. So Danny works, Danielle is just fine as well. This is my first time here. And when I told people I was coming here, I was given the expectation, like, think Gen Con, but bigger. Essen is not that. So when I walked in and I saw the vast amount of space in 6 different rooms filled with people just having a good time, like drinking beers and just living their bestie, I was like, oh, this is not Gen Con at all. And this is the vibe that I want. And I was so excited to sit down and demo with a pint and just smile. And I will happily do this every year over other experiences I've had at cons. So this has lived up to every sort of expectation I had and gone above and beyond that.
Hello, my name is Drew. My Instagram is Welcome to Boredom. My favorite game that I was able to witness was Kelp by Wonder Bow Games. I've had a wonderful experience and time here at Spiel Essen. One of the largest shows of the year, fantastic place to be. Essen, Germany. Highly encourage people to be here next year. It is the wonderland of all board games.
A wonderland of board games, and something that's piqued my interest: pints with board games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is new news to me.
One of the I couldn't remember whether it was one of the stands or just happened to be by a stand. Is they were selling various types of Belgian beer that you could obviously purchase and drink with your game at the stand, which is
Amazing.
Yeah, good.
I mean, both Danny and Cardboard Cowboy,
Mm-hmm.
Drew's,
Yes.
I think it's Drew. Really good summaries. I mean, both different perspectives. One is, I guess, that Gen Con comparison, which is you just go and compare. It's completely different. Through to there's just the wonderland of board games. Cracking. Does that help you, PJ, decide that next year you're going to Essen? I mean, it's got pints, so that's it now. I did. That's a deal. That's
You're
it.
done, right?
Oh, I did not realize this was a thing.
That would never happen at Gen Con in the the
Belgian
hall.
beer as well. I mean, it's super strength.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely go to a bar elsewhere, and there's
not the same.
But in the hall, serving beer and playing and while demoing games, John, demoing games with a pint.
Yeah,
it's the future. And there was a little whisper about kelp, which I know we've talked about that previously as well.
Yep.
So that looked. Did you get a chance to see that game, John?
I got to see is it Carl, I think, who was there sort of doing the dish for the game. So that was at the tail end of the Saturday, because it's one that I'd not seen before the con, and then saw the artwork for it initially.
Nice.
And then saw the asymmetry, and then Shark versus Octopus, and he was describing the octopus moves at the beginning. And then when I was talking to Drew later, he basically ran me through how the entire game works, and it sounds fantastic. So I'd like to give it a spin.
It is insane. It is insane. Because we play tested at Gen Con. So yeah, kelp is crazy.
So talking about games, you then have a group of sound bites from various designers, I guess industry friends that you've met along the way. We're going to start with Kavango,
our dear friends,
which is that was a couple of episodes ago. So let's listen to what the Kavango guys have got to say.
I'm Zara.
And I'm Matt.
We are at kavango.game.
Oh, it's been amazing. We've been showing the game to people, love it, just love playing with people. It's been absolutely non-stop, chock-a-block on our demos, but yeah, we love every moment of it. And when people are enjoying the game, it means the world to us. So yeah, it's been so fun. It's very cool. How's it compared to UK GE?
It's very similar in some ways, and that what we really like is that it's such a gaming convention, that there's lots of people here to play tabletop games. So we've had so many players just coming and getting the game instantly, and just that's been so satisfying. And the energy is the same. It's got a lot of vibrancy, a lot of people coming through. So I think it's very similar. Just maybe a few more nationalities here.
Yeah, very true.
So my name's Alfie. I'm the sales manager here at Aletto Games. We're here at the show representing Doomlings, which is a very, very good card game for us. So strategy-based card game. People have been really, really interested in it. This is kind of the German launch. So yeah, I've been really excited to get that out and had some really good feedback from it from German people. So yeah, really had a great show. And yeah, excited for next year.
My name is Robert Firebrand. I'm the designer of Shape Invaders. It's a new game where two players are battling for the dominance in the galactic by flicking each other's aliens and spaceships. But the new thing that we have this year is actually the shields. Each spaceship has a few shields, so you first have to eliminate the shields before you can get to the spaceship. It's a very simple game, it's a very quick game, children can play it, but adults love it as well. And the reason you should check Camden Games on Kickstarter is that our first Kickstarter, Asteroid Dice, just finished, so you'll find us easily. And the next Shape Invader Kickstarter is going to be there next year, in 2024. And you'll be able to find all sorts of amazing things on the Kickstarter that you'll never, ever see again in shops. So ever since pandemic, Spiel has kind of been smaller, but we can now finally feel how it's picking up pace again, and we get more international visitors, more international exhibitors. And our stand was packed the whole time from Thursday to Sunday. But if you have never been to Spiel in Essen, you should definitely check it out and come at least on the Sunday or the Thursday, which is more quiet days. And then you can see all the games that before they come out, and you can play them. And you can also get promo cards and special pieces that you will never, ever find in retail.
Amazing.
Never, ever.
Never ever. You heard it there.
Robert really is the fire breath. I mean,
yeah.
I was looking for more information on Shape Invaders. So I need to. That sounds really fun. I do like a good dexterity flicking game. Did you get to play?
It was. I didn't. I have played before, however.
Okay.
It was. So they had a pop-up gazebo with all their Camden Games logos on, and it was a really popular store. It was very toasty for the people who were looking after that store, because the air circulation within their little pod wasn't all that great.
Oh,
so
really?
they had a nice toasty experience, but it was always full, because it's a game where it's really easy to play. You can just watch other people play it, so you just sort of mimic. And you've also got the sort of clicking of the tiles hitting each other and then flying off the tables in their little catch nets. And with they got sort of like the black light UV light thing, so it was all illuminated nicely. It was just fun, and it was just always busy, which is really cool. I think flipping to the Kavango one as well.
Yeah,
I think Matt and Zara's bit where they were saying, it's interesting where they were saying, people just playing lots of games, and so even with them, I think it was on the Friday when we first saw them, is they were booking time slots to play Kavango, because I hadn't played it up until that point.
Wow.
So we booked to play on the Saturday evening, which we did, or Saturday afternoon, and their place was again always full. But it was nice where, and I think it helps with the style of the game. They've got two where it's just easily accessible, but because you've got a lot of experienced gamers too, they can get to it even faster, because they recognise some of the styles and themes and mechanics and such. But it was nice where, and I'm not saying it just because I knew of them before, but they had a real calming sense of their stance. It was nice to go there. Lots of the others, it was just people run off the feet. It was just manic. If you were trying to play a game, you were probably in a queue waiting for the table, but the stall sort of wasn't looked after as well as it could have been. So it was all just a bit intense. Whereas theirs, it worked. It was lovely. And there's a similar sort of theme, I guess, with Jack at Splitstone with Mycelia.
Mm-hmm.
That was busy. That was so busy all the time, with both people playing and just looking, because the artwork was drawing a lot of people in.
Yeah.
But once you got busy tables, people are always looking too. But it always seemed well sort of managed, which is really good. And it's the style of the experience on each booth was really different, and especially coming to the Sunday when some people have been on those stalls for 4 days and maybe a bit more for the press day.
Sure, yeah.
And you could see that it was wearing on them, but good.
Oh, it's really, it's great to see throughout the weekend on the socials, the Kavango team. The stand was busy. The Kickstarter's still got a couple of days to go as of today, and they're on two and a half, just over 2,000 backers.
Yeah.
Just really pleased for them. So it just shows that, time it right with the show. And I can imagine, because they're very calm in nature, but they're also very well planned. So I can imagine how well that stand was run. Just because
I want to get one of those oversized cards that everyone was taking pictures with.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the last two clips, which I guess is just two other people you met around the show. Should I just play them straight away?
Yeah.
Let's go
for it.
My name is Grzegorz, and my Instagram is boardgame. I'm from Poznań, Poland. It was bigger, better, more games, more fun, and I have great time.
Brilliant. What's your highlight been?
Spending time with you and playing gay sauna, of course. Two things: spending time with you and playing board games. Sorry, playing gay sauna, and a poop game. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
My name is Vanessa, and my Instagram name is Missing Pieces. Well, this is my second spiel because I went here last year, but it feels always like the first time because I'm always so excited. And contrary to what I thought before coming to Spiel, the best part is not actually the games, the products, but it's the atmosphere that we are able to live, because you get to meet a lot of amazing people, like you, for example. Yeah, I really enjoy the fact that we can exchange our feelings and our thoughts about games, and the way you can actually get to know each other. Because, of course, Instagram is amazing and all the socials and everything that we have at home, but here it feels really better, different. And also you get to know, for example, the creators, the designer of the games, and you finally put a face to a name, and sometimes it feels unreal, really. So they are really humble people, and you get to sit down with them, and that's a thing that I really love, because you can ask questions. They say things you never even imagined to, for example, ask about or think. And I had some really interesting spin on some of the games I tried this year.
What a great summary.
Bigger, better, and more. I think that these are your two biggest fans, John.
I did not pay Vanessa any money to say anything that was said, and yeah, Grzegorz, we had a fun time playing the gay sauna game. Yeah.
Should I work out what game it was? Because clearly hanging out with you was the highlight of the show.
I mean,
yeah. So there were
what was the game?
Two things that accidentally happened. So after the big burger meet on the Friday, we were all walking back to the underground station, and Grzegorz was like, "Oh, what are your plans for tomorrow?" I went, "Well, just doing a bit of linking up, and there's like a content creator meet and greet thing on the Saturday, so I'll probably swing by that and just see what that's about." And he's like, "Oh, okay," and then said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, we've got a slot at 3 p.m. to play Gay Sauna, the board game." We're like, "Okay, all right, we'll just come along and play that." So Dom, Bromide enthusiast, says, "Okay, we'll do that." So we had the three. So we rocked up at 3 on the following day, and the three of us sat on one side of the bench, and then 3 other random guys on the other had a couple of rounds of Gay Sauna. And what happened at the table will stay at the table.
Stay on the table.
Fair enough.
I will not ask. And what's if we were interviewing you now and saying what's your highlight in 30 seconds? What would you summarize Essen as?
That's really tricky. It's something I've given. I've really struggled to distill it into such a short thing, because it's such an intense experience, and it's a really, for me, like a really strangely, almost addictive thing, where you've got this energy in the halls, and as soon as you're away from it, even though it's intense when you're in there, you're in this sort of big meat grinder machine thing, as soon as you're out, it feels strange, and you just want to go back in and go, oh, there's something around that corner, and there's always something to explore. And something I was conscious of going from around is I was often taking very similar routes through the halls, so it meant I was getting to places quickly, but I was not covering a lot of ground. So yeah, that's not a very good summary at all, but it's just the sort of thing that you get confronted with, and the experience is so different for many different people, because they go with a different expectation and different desires, and then bumping into those people when you're there, it's it's like nothing else, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kept seeing different shots and thinking like the amount of people that we know that they've met through board games from all around the world. It's that one destination. You just need a sat nav app to get yourself from A to B in an easier way. But it's just amazing experience, and I really am working with my company to make sure we don't lock out next year. In fact, they've already agreed we're not doing the same thing this year. So I will endeavour to be there.
I think if you're there for the whole... So my original plan, until I found out that this content creator thing was on the Saturday, was to avoid Saturday because it's so intense. And I'd heard that some people were just going for the Saturday, and I don't know what their experience had been like. Whether they've ever been seen again, I don't know. But that would be a real... The Thursday and Sunday are the ideal days to go. Thursday for the essential purchases, and then Sunday for a nice, more relaxing thing. But yeah, there's just so much to cram. And so in terms of games I played there, so there was number 9. Is it number 9 plus plus?
Oh yeah, how was that?
With the expansion.
Yeah.
So I'd never played original brand number 9.
Okay.
So we had that explained of where you sort of match the numbers up, and you stack them to accumulate points based on the height and the worth of the number. And the expansion adds in special actions that you can undertake. I think there's a selection of tiles in the box, and you select 2.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And then you can do different sort of rule breakers, if you like.
Yeah.
And you get a couple of infill pieces, so a cube and a rectangle, or a square and a rectangle, to help fill in random
zeros. Yeah.
Yes.
Good game.
Yeah. So we played it with a couple of strangers as well. It played nicely. It was fun. It was all right. And patterns as well, which obviously was one of your heads ups before.
I was about to ask. Yeah.
So
did you get to spend some time and see it?
It was So I watched it being played first, and then there were 2 tables, and the other one freed up. So I was like, okay, I'll have a look. So I played it with one of the demo team there, and it was really good fun. It's sort of like a sort of area control matching orthogonally game. It's a nice lightweight pattern matching strategy thing. So it's nice. My summary is awful, but it's one I'd recommend to play. 2 player specific. But yeah, it's nice. I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of mechanics there. Yeah, I remember you said about PJ on the previous show. It did sound like a nice game.
Yeah.
And we had talked about Mandala. The original needs more love because it's just a great,
it's a
great 2-player.
Those games that we actually won it at a raffle, a game convention, and I hadn't heard of it. And you still don't see much about it, but it's such a nice 2-player game. So yeah, that's a couple of years old now, but yeah, really good. Anything else to add to that we haven't covered, John? Because you covered a lot of ground, literally.
There was a lot. I should have got the step count to share because it was significant each single day. It was good.
I bet it was. Yeah.
So we're going to have we're going to try adding a bonus episode, aren't we, to this? And that was with I'm now looking at my notes. Is it Kosh? No.
Yeah, Kosh, the designer of Forest Shuffle, which was. There was one of the stores where they were rating the games of the expo or the Spiel. I think it came as number 2 or 3 in their ranking and was sold out because I wanted to get a copy so I could get it signed because I thought, well, that's an easy thing to. But yeah, so I suppose actually the other thing I will add is so some of the things that people might not have identified by the first pass of the website. So with the content creator meet thing, when you came in through hall 3, there was a foyer area and then an escalator. And at the top of that escalator, there was a meeting room. And if you had no reason to go up there, you probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it was a free access thing. If you had a Spiel ticket, you could go in there. And there were just various podcasters, video recorders, interviewers, game designers and whatnot with their thing and lots of tables and space and quiet, just demoing games. So when I'd caught up with Gregos after the Secret Sauna experience. He asked if he could play my game, so we went up with him and his wife, and we played Can't Go, so that was nice. So there's that space as well.
Can you use that space for recording? Is that possible, like recording podcasts? Is that basically a zone where it's basically a press room, I guess?
It was,
in a way.
Yeah, it was less exclusive than that, but you could definitely do that because it was a more normal level of background noise. Where
like a Meeple to Meeple table in the little room there, Gareth? That's what...
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, just a place to meet people if you want that little bit more quiet space. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
So I got to ask one question because our friend Craig, Get Into Games, told me about this and sent me a picture. Didn't know this when we originally talked about it. Did you get to see the miniatures for Nemesis Retaliation?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. I didn't know they were going to have it. Like, they had the prototype on display, and I'm like, and the picture was a little grainy, so I couldn't quite tell. And I was like, if you could describe it to me, that'd be great.
Not
I
this
wish
time.
I'd have known. Yeah. Oh, well. So, Gareth, how is this extra bonus episode? How's that going to work for all of our
it'll go
listeners?
live. It'll go live with this. So there should be a second episode to this Essen return from Essen episode.
Yeah,
we'll see. It's the first time we've done it, so it'll either be another episode back to back, or there'll be a second, like a bonus episode. So I think I just want to say thanks, John, for taking some of your time and giving it over to us. I know how busy that show is from everything you said. So both of us greatly appreciate you doing some interviews for the channel. Much appreciated.
It was an interesting experience, genuinely, because it's something I'd not done in that in the Essen environment before, and it was good to do, and it was genuinely lovely talking to everyone and just getting their in the moment experience of how it was treating them and how they were feeling at the time. It was fun.
So if we ask any of our fellow friends going to other conventions to do what you did for us at Essen, do you have any advice for them before we go?
Say no.
Gareth, that's not how this works.
Yeah. There's probably a this seems a catchphrase in every episode, but that would almost be an episode in itself. I think probably the time in preparation is one consideration of knowing who you need to meet specifically, of where the meeting rooms are. So I did a lot of scouting out on the very first day to find out where everything really was, because you didn't want to be hunting for a meeting room and be late. So finding out where you need to be and when specifically, making contact obviously well before to make sure that people are still going to be there, because obviously if they're sick, they might not actually be there and you might end up just waiting around. So if you can scout them out on the day, if you can do any sort of practice recordings beforehand, so you're familiar with all the equipment before you rock up, then that's all good. And then just have fun with it, because everybody I was talking to, it was just really exciting to talk to them, and that they were giving me that back. So it was just really fun, rather than being too sort of. So when I was talking, I'd say, look, if you're talking and you mess up, it's all good. Just start again or whatever.
Perfect.
Just relax.
Yep.
And just enjoy it. I suppose that's my only advice.
That's it.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And I hope everyone who's listening has enjoyed John's summary of Essen. I certainly have enjoyed listening and discussing it, and the FOMO just got even more real. So I hope to see everyone next year. Hopefully, PJ, you'll make it as well.
Well, let's hope so.
Okay,
If it's possible, if I could do a couple of, or a handful of shout-outs just to
go. Do it now. Airtime is here.
So, very quickly, or probably not quickly, so Peter, Jim, Marie, Lee, Anna, Elena, and Sabrina for being fantastic accommodation buddies. Ladybug Meeple and Lucy from Diary of a Board Game Girl, it's great to accidentally bump into you while searching for food. Joanna, Kosh, Dina for the longer interview sessions, which were great. Nick from Board Game Review UK, Julie, Board Julie, and Andrea from Boardiacs. Again, fantastic to see you there. Sabina from Lookout Games, Jack, Matt, and Zara that we've mentioned already. Oyman from Board Games in Vienna, who bumped into me and recognised me from the T-shirt. That was awesome. Mabine, Dennis, Brett Spieler, Uncle. Obviously, the squad from Aletto and Camden, including Sai. Savannah, who was on the Kavango stand, who was their self-proclaimed #1 fan. And then, last but not least, the burger crew of Jenny for arranging things, Rachel, Flair Remembers, Adam, Michaela, and then Gregosh and his good lady wife, Gosha, Dom, Drew, Shanda, and Lisa from Het Spellet Yes Couple. I assume that's how you say their Instagram. Genders Gaming, Dennis, Ordinary Board Gamer, Raphael and Kate. And I think that rounds off the entire list of people who made it an even warmer experience.
That is a roll call of some amazing, all amazing people.
That is epic. That is epic.
That is an
Shout
epic
out
list.
to all of you.
You will need to send me all the Instagram tags so that we can tag them in as well, so they get a listen. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.
Everyone for listening. Please subscribe, and as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments. And don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram @Meeple to Meeple.